Hello, bold goal crushers. Happy New Year. I don't know if you saw, but I have my 2025 on and I'm about ready to say goodbye to 2024. So if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see that I'm holding up a 2024 sign. I did find this new one that says cheers, which has been my signature line for years. So anyway, welcome back to the podcast where we tackle the big stuff, crushing goals, overcoming obstacles, and truly building a life and business you love. As you know, I'm your host, Sara Mayer, and today we're diving into something that can completely shift how you show up in business this year, creating a personal and professional development plan. And I know you're probably like, ooh, that sounds a little corporate. I got out of corporate to build my business, or I'm trying to get out of corporate to build my business. But bear with me, this is really important. So if you're like me, you set bold, ambitious goals every year. And sometimes those take many years to achieve. And sometimes the day to day life gets in the way and goals take a back seat, especially if they're really important because they're difficult, they're not easy. Does this sound familiar? So, today I'm going to walk you through how to craft a development plan that keeps your business and your personal life moving forward and ensures that you grow alongside it. So let's talk a little bit about my journey, the year everything changed. And I want to kick this off by sharing that a few years ago, I found myself in a place where I was working a lot and I was doing all the things. I was saying yes to things. I was accomplishing a lot, but I truly wasn't getting closer to my goals. I was saying yes to every client, every project, every opportunity, and that truly felt great at first. I love helping people. I know many of you do too as well. But at the end of the year, I realized I hadn't moved the needle to my bigger goals. I had ideas that hadn't been launched, I had offers that hadn't converted, and it didn't happen because I didn't have a clear development plan for me personally, who I needed to become in business, what experiences I need. And so what was the turning point? The turning point was I set aside intentional time at the end of the year to reflect and assess and truly create that roadmap for growth. So that year I launched new services, brought more strategic clients and streamlined parts of my business that had been draining me and my team. And that's what I want for you. So today I'm going to break down how to create a development plan that keeps you aligned with your big goals and prevents burnout. So here's the thing, running a business, being a side hustler, working in a business and wanting to be outside of a business without a plan is like driving without a destination. Sure, you're moving, but are you headed in the right direction? Are you taking unnecessary stops? Are you running out of gas? So, a development plan clarifies your priorities. So, you'll know exactly what to focus on to help take you from where you are to where you need to be. And this could be improving your leadership skills, outsourcing, or expanding your offerings. It also creates accountability. It becomes this blueprint that you can check in on throughout the years. So think of your development plan as a way to really zoom out from the day to day operations and reconnect with that bigger vision of you in your business or life. All right. So before we jump in, we need to reflect on the past to really just think about the year you just had. So if you haven't grabbed a notebook, time to grab a notebook, get ready to write. I want you to think about what were your biggest achievements? What worked well? When did you show up that the way you want to show up? Now, many of you are thinking about things that didn't work well or things that didn't happen or when you didn't show up well. Put that in the past. We're going to reflect from a place of positivity. What were your biggest achievements? What challenges did you overcome? Not what were the challenges. What challenges did you overcome? And most importantly, what lessons did you learn from this? And then a follow up question. What are the things you want to experience again because of this? So, for example, last year, one of my biggest business wins was launching the launch team service. Now, I realized I was spending too much time in the weeds and I needed to really help people. People like my clients were spending too much time in the weeds. I was in the weeds with them. And I really needed to help people just launch their stuff. And things that would take me hours to try and teach them to do would take my team like 5 minutes. And so this is when this idea came up. And reflection was really where this came from because I was able to reflect on the client interactions that had a rub and realize that there was a solution there that we could solve something for them. And it allowed us to launch one of our coolest offers ever. So it's really important to have aligned goals. So let's talk about goal setting because sometimes people talk about a development plan and goal setting and they mush them together. They're partners, but they're not the same thing. So goal setting is like the part of where who you want to become in this development plan. So it's not I want to make more money. It's I want to become the type of person that makes money. Does that see the difference? And the key is really to set in your plan, to align your plan with the goals of what you want. So the growth goals, these are about scaling. This could be about launching something new, increasing revenue. You might have operational goals. How can you make your business run more effectively? But your development plan goals help you to figure out how can you as a leader grow this year so you are able to do those things in your business. So you want to think maybe it's a coaching program, maybe it's a leadership training, a skill building, something like that, or an experience that you need to experience so that you can then be the person who achieves those goals. So for me, last year, a growth goal was to expand my offers. An operational goal, I focus on streamlining some process. And for personal development, I really worked on refining my sales strategy by looking at what other people are doing for sales and putting myself in those situations and experiences to make more sales. So I want you to pick 1 to 2 goals in each category: growth, operation, and personal development. Okay? Growth, operation, personal development. And those are very different, but they all relate to your big goal of whatever you're trying to do in your business or life. Make sense? Take a few minutes, jot some thoughts down in your journal. All right, here's where we get tactical. So you could put a bajillion things on your goal list, on your vision board, on your whatever, on your wall, on your shoe, wherever in your notebook. So here's where you have to get tactical so that life doesn't get in the way. You need to create an action plan. What are the steps you need to do in order to grow into the person who achieves those goals? So it's really important that you have those action steps and those are measurable and those have a timeline. So phase 1 could be doing research. Action 2 could be watching a course. Action 3 could be hiring a coach. But it's something that allows you to really put the big, dreamy boldness that might not be specific into specific actions that you can take. And breaking it down like this creates the momentum, but helps when life tries to get in the way. So you're not overwhelmed. Now, you don't need to outline all the steps. So like for example, if your goal would be to write a book, if you sat down and wrote down all the steps from start to finish to write and launch and market a book, you'd be completely overwhelmed. But you need to have a container to capture all those ideas that come into your head when you're working on this journey. So you might have a really cool idea for going on a podcast tour to launch your book, but you haven't even written page 1. But if you have a container, a place, it could be a notebook, it could be a sauna, it could be Trello board, whatever, it doesn't matter. It could be 100 Post-its. But if you have a place to capture that idea, then when you do get to the launch stage, you haven't lost it. You can go on your podcast tour. So it's really important to have all of this into a document or a container. And as you know, the best plans will fall apart without regular check ins or regular focus. So you want to do weekly, monthly, and quarterly reviews. Spend 15 minutes every week, 30 minutes every month, maybe an hour every quarter to really look at your progress, where you've come, where you're going, and where you still need to go. So sometimes you're going to realize you need to pivot, or there's a nice thing on the side of the road on your journey that actually complements what you're doing. So do it. It doesn't mean you can be like, well, that wasn't in the plan, so I have to skip it. You just need to have this become part of your regular day so that life does not get in the way. Because those really big, bold, dreamy goals and those things you need to do to develop yourself to achieve those goals sometimes take many years. But if you don't work on it on a regular basis, you will be no closer next year in 2026 than you are right now. So here's a few quick tips. Simplify. Don't overload yourself. Pick 1 to 2 actions a week. You don't need to do 15. You don't need to do 20. Pick 1 to 2. That'll keep the momentum going. Outsource. If something's not your genius zone, delegate it to someone, hire someone, or find somebody who has already accomplished that and overcome it, and just invite them to help you or use their resource. There's lots of books out there too. It doesn't always have to take money. And accountability. I am a don't share your big, bold goals widely type person because I think that invites people to provide you with feedback that may deflate your balloon. But you can share your action steps. This week, I'm going to fill out one application to become a speaker, or this week, I'm going to watch one course. And having a mastermind or maybe an accountability group, somebody you go on a walk with who you can just tell what you're going to do, really does make a difference for your success. All right, bold goal crushers. Now it's your turn. Set some time aside this week to reflect, to plan, and to build out your development roadmap for the year. As you know, I have a ton of resources on my website. If you go to saramayer.com/free tools and resources, you can find how to set your word for the year, how to set your vision for the year, how to set resolutions that actually work. You can find so many resources in there. So please check that out. And remember, bold goals are achieved by intentional, consistent action. And so that's what creating this personal development plan is all about, becoming the person who crushes your bold goals. It's about getting you to the goals, but what do you need to do or learn in order to be the person who can consistently do that? So, thanks for hanging out with me today. I always love chatting with you, and I'm looking forward to hearing what your bold goals are this year. If this episode resonated with you, make sure you share it with a fellow entrepreneur or business owner who's ready to level up this year. I'll see you next time. Let's go crush your goals and everything that gets in the way so you don't have to work double time.